Well, good day, boys and girls. Welcome to the art studio. I'm Miss Valerie, and today we're going to be doing paper cutouts, being inspired by the artwork of a French artist, an impressionist, that is. He knew Van Gogh, he knew Gauguin, he knew many of the artists that we're going to be learning about this year. His name is Henri Matisse. Now, if he had been born in America, his name would have been Henry. But since he was born in Paris, his name is Henri. Henri Matisse was known for saying he wanted his artwork to be as comfortable as your favorite chair. Now, you've got to understand, during that time, if you remember, that's when cameras were invented. And so remember, artists were given free license to explore art through expressing their feelings. So not all feelings are happy. Some feelings are pretty intense, and he decided that there was enough people doing really serious, heavy art. So he wanted his artwork to make you feel happy and excited and joyous. And so you're going to notice the colors I'm choosing today are going to be very bright colors. And since we're going to be doing the coral reef, and of course it's all the nature patterns: explosive, radial, spiral, meander, and branching, all 5 of them. And so what I did ahead of time, just to save us some time, I started drawing the images, the outside, the contour shapes of some of the coral reefs. Here's that one. They don't all have to be fancy. Some of them can be blob-like this one. This one's going to be, I think I'm going to make it into a brain coral when we get into the patterning of here. But anyway, so I'd like you to go watch the movie. I have a video that's Under the Sea, the corals, and I'd like you to notice absolutely the nature patterns, but also the color relationships and things, because what we're going to be doing is cutting our shapes out, and then we're going to be cutting smaller shapes and doing layers to make really interesting stories. So what we're going to be doing is, after we cut out the outside contour shapes, we're going to start doing layers of shape, cutting smaller and smaller shapes. And so say we're doing a radial pattern, we'll start off with a large radial pattern and start cutting different colors smaller and smaller. And as we're finished, we'll have a very interesting sea creature called the corals. I know, I never knew they were animals either. I always thought they were, I don't know, some kind of a sea plant. But they are, but they're not. They're a weird kind of thing, aren't they? Well, go get your papers ready. You're going to need different colored construction papers, some small ones. You're going to need some half sheet ones, 3 of them actually, 3 half sheets of, and then 1 large 18 by 9. So that's two times, what is that shape? Thank you. I'm so glad you said that. Yes, it is a rectangle, but a very long rectangle. And we're going to be, well, you're going to have to decide. Are you going to do your story vertically, or you caught me, didn't you? That's right. I was holding it horizontally. Good job. I was hoping I did it on purpose. We're teachers. We do stuff like that. So, boys and girls, the large paper, which is going to be 9 inches by 18 inches, so that gives us a very long rectangle. We're either going to tell our story with 3 cells going this way, so we have a vertical story, or horizontally with our 3 cells, our stories. That's what a cell is going to be. We're going to have 3 cells to tell our story. So go get your stuff. You'll need scissors, a pencil, glue, and a whole bunch of construction paper. The prettier the colors, the better, because we are tropical and we are under the sea, celebrating the sea of possibilities. I'm ready. I'll wait. I'm impatient. Hurry up. Okay, bye. Okay, boys and girls, I've collected my construction paper. I've got them in different piles. I got some that haven't been cut out yet. I have some that I've drawn the outer contour shape of. I have some that I've already cut out. And I put these here because I wanted to show them to you, because we have two different kinds of shapes here. The one shape, this is what we normally think of when we think of a shape. It's the positive shape. It's the actual shape itself, like your hand. Your hand is the shape. But there's also a shape that goes around that your hand or whatever the shape is. And it's right here. This is called the negative shape. This rectangle of blue around it that has the piece taken out is a negative shape, and then there's the positive shape. And I also have it here with the yellow coral. It's just something I wanted to show to you so that you can think about it and play with that as you're creating your cells or your little stories. So what I'm doing right now is I'm just cutting out different size shapes. Most of them are already cut out. But what I find is going deeper inside the jaw works better. Remember, thumbs up, not thumbs down. Thumbs up allows you to do a lot more intricate cutting. As I go deeper inside the jaw of the scissors, it allows me to move my scissors around. Because if I'm up here on the tip, it just bites in. It's like you trying to eat a piece of pizza with just your front teeth. It doesn't work that way. You got to go for those back teeth to really get in there and really start chewing it up. And so that's what the scissors is doing. It's following the line that I made. Oh, oopsie, look what I did. I made a oopsie there. You know what? So what? Nobody's ever going to know that but you. And who knows? Maybe this is a better shape anyway. There, I didn't follow along there either. But it's all right, because you're not going to, once we glue these down, you're not going to see any of the lines anyway. Okay, so there it is. So now I've cut out the positive shape, and I also have the negative shape. And so, like I said earlier, we'll be playing with those two concepts of shapes. So go on and get your shapes cut out. I suggest you do several different colors, maybe 3 or 4 colors. And when you're finished with that, put them aside. And then the next step is we have to get the backgrounds ready. I have 3 rectangles here. These are going to be 6 by 6 when I'm finished. Right now they're too big. They're rectangles, and I need them to be squares. And so I thought I would show you the trick for making a square out of a rectangle. So you see this corner here? I'm going to take this corner and meet it up to that edge of the paper there. Do you see that, how I did that? I'm taking the short edge and I'm meeting it up to the long edge by folding it over. And since this is math magic, we want to make sure that the edges meet up. Now normally I would fold that and crease it, but I don't want to crease in my square. So I'm just going to pinch. You see I've got that pinched, and I'm going to carefully cut this part out. Now if you want to get a big person to help you, maybe an older brother, sister, aunt, uncle, grandpa, next door neighbor, somebody to help. Yeah, see now I don't have any lines. So there's my squares, and I'm so excited because now I'm ready to glue these down onto the big rectangle, and these are going to be my cells, or what we call our story lines. So let me collect these up and get them off the working surface. Okay, boys and girls, I've decided that I'm going to be doing my story in a horizontal fashion. You are absolutely welcome to do your storyline in a vertical fashion, writing their story from top to bottom. But I'm going to do mine like we would if we were reading a book. And so I'm going to have 3 stories going on. So I'm going to have 3 squares. Let me try to measure, get them so they're equaled out. Okay, now I'm going to glue them down so that they're not in our way. And of course you remember, clean off your tips. If the glue doesn't come out, don't go squeezing it harder. You want to try to close it and then scratch it. Oh, look at there. See all that came off? That little bit will stop you from doing your artwork. I seen a kid, and I'm not kidding, who that little bit, because he wouldn't stop, close it back up and scratch it off like Miss Mallory said. Instead, he decided to force it. And guess what happened? You're right, Nolan. The whole top flew off across the room. So, now it should be ready to go. There. Hear that? Now it's clean. All right. And of course, there's Miss Valerie's song. Teeny tiny dots of glue work better than a great big puddle. Teeny tiny dots of glue work better than a great big puddle. Blob. I love that. Okay, so I'm going to lay this down, and as I'm laying it down, I'm noticing the sides, the green there. I want to try to get it so that it's equal on all the sides. That's called quality craftsmanship, that I care enough to take an extra second to get it to lay right. Now, I get kids, they turn them in and they're like this and they're off the page. And it just says to me, I just didn't care too much. I just want to get it done. And, you know, I guess if art is only to take up your time, then I guess that would be okay. But if you're doing an artwork that you want to forever remember, you'll just take your time with it because it's worth it, and so are you. Now, notice how I'm looking to see that this and this is the same thickness. Yeah. And if it's not exact, that's all right. But we're trying to get it close. So there, now I've got my 3 cells, and what these are 3 different stories going on under the sea. So you could have, I don't know, maybe a story about the interdependency of the clownfish and the sea anemone. You could have an octopus swimming along. You could have the coral reef with all the different species of corals. It's totally up to you. All right, now I've already done the next part, so I'm just going to move on. Because I've already got my coral shapes already cut out, I can start laying down shapes. And I love it because I'm not going to glue them down right away so that I can play with the different stories. Okay. I like that overlapping there. That's really nice. And it's really nice because it's the 2 warm colors. And I think watch this. I'm going to overlap. Do you see that? I overlapped the one, overlapping, the orange is overlapping the yellow, and the yellow is overlapping the orange. I love that. Yep, because that's how it would really happen in the coral reefs. And remember the negative shape? If I wanted, I could play with that. Matisse did that as well. That's right. All this idea is this is from the artist Henri Matisse, because this guy, after he couldn't hold a paintbrush anymore, gosh, it's a story. Yep, he was a painter for many, many years. And then he got really bad rheumatoid arthritis and his hands were all gnarled up. And I think I'm going to put this one behind there. That's really actually quite striking. I don't know if you saw that I'm using the blue and the orange complementary colors. And on this one, I'm going to do the warm colors. This one I got cool. I'm going to put green here. So I've got a family going on there. I'm glad that some of you noticed that I was doing that. So anyway, he wasn't able to hold the paintbrush any longer after the disease. He couldn't even walk anymore. So what he would do is he would roll paper, colored paper all over the floor. And then he had a long stick, like a big cane. And on the end of the cane, they put chalk, a big piece of chalk. And they connected it to his arm. And so he moved his arm and he was able to draw these huge shapes. Now, when you look at Henri's work online, you're going to notice that the first picture, you clearly can't tell how big it is, but the second picture, when you see the people standing next to it, you realize how huge his work was. Okay, so this one's going to go on here. You see how I'm putting it? It's smaller, but I'm going to start cutting out a really interesting, I'm going to do a branching pattern Remember, starts as one, then goes two. Starts as one and then goes two. Starts as one, then goes two. Why? Well, why? I don't know. Ask the tree why. I know why. Because that's the branching pattern. See it? So I got little coral that I can put over here to the warm colors. I'm loving that because it's you see how it's big and now it's small. That's nice variety. And then we got meander. We've got a triangle and back to meander again. So that's a beautiful pattern. And then look at this one. We're going to put that one right on there, on top of there. Oh, I'm liking that. All right. So enjoy yourself. And the neat thing, like I said, is you don't have to glue it down right away. But once you do like it, put a little glue. Like say I like this one here. I'm going to lift up, put a teeny tiny dot of glue. I mean, we're talking tiny. And push it down. And that will hold that there until I'm ready to do the rest of them. All right, boys and girls, go have fun with your positive and negative shapes. Better than positive and negative talking. Oh, or like the pirate said, stinkin' thinkin'. Bye, guys. Well, boys and girls, it's been a pleasure having you with me this week. I hope you're enjoying yourself in the sea of possibilities. Next week, we are going to be diving under the ocean, and all of the things of Henri Matisse will come alive for us. I hope you enjoyed yourself today. I'll see you later. Bye now.